Jonesboro community a better place, while offering viewpoints from all sides of the issues. The views expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of KLEK 102.5 FM, the voice of Arkansas Minority Advocacy Council, or our underwriters or sponsors.
All right, good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. It is Friday, October the 14th. I don't know about you, but I've been so looking forward to Friday. It's been a crazy week for me. But I'm happy to be here with my special guest, Ms. Hannah Towell. She is the current assessor for Credit County.
That's right.
And so we're going to be talking all things assessment. I hope that you are tuned in. You can watch us live on Facebook and YouTube. Listen to what she has to say. You can also call in or text during the show. The phone number is 870-277-1080, or go to KLEK Facebook page and watch us live, or download the mobile app for Android and iPhone. So, without further ado, we're going to get right into things. So, good morning, Ms. Hannah.
Good morning.
Alrighty, so thank you for coming on, and let's get started talking a little bit about your background, where you're from, and all that.
I was born and raised here in Jonesboro and Bono, so the greater Jonesboro area, and I'm very proud to say that I spent my younger days at Westside, and then I ended up graduating from Valley View. So
Okay.
my parents sent me to rival schools, but you know what? That's okay. It made me stronger for it, right?
Okay.
And so then after that, I went to ASU, and I got 2 degrees from ASU in psychology and philosophy. So absolutely nothing to do with assessment. Nothing to do with it. But it teach me a lot about organization and motivation, and staying dedicated to finish through a long-term project. And it was very beneficial, and I absolutely love my education from ASU. So Go Red Wolves.
All right. So what did you do after you got those degrees? I'm really interested to hear how you went from studying psychology and philosophy. What did you do in between that led you to now, being the assessor?
I did get a job in my field,
Okay.
but there was such a great learning curve that I wasn't able to make enough money and learn my job quickly enough.
Okay.
So I very quickly went to what was then Liberty Bank, is now Centennial Bank, and I got a job there, and I started working under the beloved late Ed Way, and he was an absolutely wonderful mentor for me. He really led by example, and customer service was at the heart of everything he did. Everything that he said, everything that he talked about was always about putting the community first, putting our customers first. It was just, he was absolutely wonderful, and I miss him dearly, but he still lives on in my heart. So while I was working there, I worked with a lady named Jennifer Longmire, and her husband approached me about running for the assessor's position.
Okay.
My predecessor was retiring, and so he told me, "Hannah, you'd be really good at this. This would be perfect for you. You should look into it." And I was like, "What?"
Okay.
Like I said, I was, psychology and philosophy, and then the president's assistant at the bank, so I didn't really have assessment on my radar. But I looked into it, and I read the manual that's on the website on the AAC website, and I talked to my husband about it, and I said, "Am I crazy?" He jokingly said yes, but I know he loves me anyways. We sat there and we prayed about it, and we talked with both of our families about it. We're a very prayerful group. My mom is certainly a prayer warrior, and I'm so grateful for that, because we all prayed about it and talked about it and decided, you know what, I think God has put this in your path for a reason, and so let's give it a shot. And we tackled it as a family, and here I am, and I'm so blessed and so humbled to be here. It's been
wonderful.
A wonderful, wonderful journey.
Well, thank you so much for stepping up and taking over and taking the reins, and trying to lead Cricket County in a good direction.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, I say this all the time. I never knew much about what goes on with the city. how the local government is run, and it's really sad on my part. But now I am really trying to learn more, be more involved, and just see how things are going so that I can, when I voice my concerns, I know what I'm talking about. They're legitimate. So.
Well, I think that's that's awesome. I absolutely respect that. I think that we need more people who care enough to ask the questions and to learn about what's going on in the community. It's a big deal.
And I'm really happy, being a part of KLEK during this elections, I'll say season.
It is a season. You are right about that.
We have had the opportunity to have some of everyone, and we still have more guests to come that are running for the various positions all over the city and the state. I am very blessed to have this one-on-one, face-to-face conversation with you so that I can learn more, and hopefully the listeners and viewers out there can learn a little bit more than they did the day before.
Absolutely.
So, we just can't thank everyone enough for coming on and sharing, the positions they're in, or the positions they're running for, and what they hope to bring to the table. I forgot to do this disclaimer from the beginning. The Voice of Arkansas Minority Advocacy Council and KLEK does not support or endorse any candidate. This interview is provided for information purposes only. No compensation was provided for this interview, so we have to give that disclaimer out.
I absolutely understand.
Okay, so, and again, if any of you out there have any questions or comments, or just want to shout out to Miss Hannah, phone number is 870-277-1080. You can also text that number if you don't want to call in, or leave us a message on our Facebook page, and I'll give you a shout out a little later on. Okay, so let's move into, what does the assessor do?
Boy, that's a loaded question. We do quite a bit. So for your personal property, that includes vehicles, boats, trailers, things of that nature. We assess those, and those are required to be assessed every year between January 1st and May 31st. And just so that everyone knows, after May 31st, by law, we are required to assess a 10% late penalty. So we really, really, really encourage everybody to get into the office, or call, or email, or go online and assess on our website before May 31st.
Okay. So say someone buys a car, June 26th. So
that is different,
okay.
because the car was acquired after our cutoff date. It then goes on for the next year.
Okay.
And so that is not considered late.
Okay.
So, good question.
Alrighty. So if you already have property, personal property, you have to get it assessed by May 31st.
Correct. And there is one more special little situation.
Okay.
If you buy a car in May, you have 30 days after your purchase date you have 30 days to get your tag.
Okay.
And so it goes in line with our cutoff as well. So if you buy it on May 3rd, you have until June 2nd to come in and assess that with us without being penalized.
Okay.
So we do give you the same cutoff, or the same grace period that the revenue office gives you for your tags.
Okay, so just make sure you're getting in there, getting your property assessed, so you don't face these penalties, these late fee.
Absolutely. We don't want to charge anybody a late fee if we don't have to.
And then we were talking a little bit earlier. Okay, there are people, we understand that people are in certain financial situations, but according to the law, you cannot waive that 10% fee.
Unfortunately, that's correct. The law is the law, and the way it reads is that after May 31st, assessments shall receive a 10% late penalty.
Okay.
So there's really no legal that's been hard to enforce, just because it's no fun.
Okay.
But we do it.
Someone like me, I only have one vehicle, so my late penalty may not be as much as someone who has more stuff on their assessment.
Correct. It also depends on how new your vehicle is.
Okay.
It's 10% on each vehicle. It's not 10% on the whole account.
Oh.
So that does help a little bit. It's
Okay.
not 10% of the bulk.
Okay.
Of the total.
Okay,
So-
well, that's better.
Yeah, it's a little bit better.
Okay. Okay, let's talk about, we talked about personal property, so what about business property?
That has the same deadline between January 1st and May 31st. All businesses have to assess with us every single year.
Okay.
And we have beefed up our business personal department just a little bit so that we will have plenty of time to get all of that paperwork completed for each of the businesses, because we have about 4,000.
my
It
goodness.
fluctuates. Yes. Jonesboro and Craighead County are ever growing, and which is awesome, and that's wonderful. But we want to make sure that we have plenty of time and plenty of people to assist everyone to the best of our ability.
And does this include businesses, I say businesses, but entities that are under the city of Jonesboro's umbrella, say like the different parks that are under Parks and Rec, or, you know?
Because that's an entity of the city that doesn't charge for their services,
Okay.
that is one of our exempt entities.
Okay. And then what are some other businesses, I say business, I use that in quotations, what are some other businesses that may fall under the exemption?
Pretty much your standards are churches and schools across the board. Those are, again, unless they are making a profit
Okay.
with what they're doing, then we don't charge property taxes for them because of what they are and what they do for our
Okay.
community. Now, we also have charities or 501c3s. Those are a little bit trickier.
Okay.
Just because you have a 501c3, unfortunately, does not mean that you always will be exempt from property taxes, but most of the time
Okay.
they will be.
All right. So, okay. Now, we did talk about, the different taxes, or not taxes, assessment, the different types, personal business. And as you mentioned, like I wrote some notes, and I'm just trying to make sure to clarify everything for everyone. Okay, if you go in, you have a penalty. I'm sorry, Miss Hannah cannot break the law, because if she bends the rules for one, then it's like, okay, for everyone. But at the same time, you're breaking the law, which is, the law.
It's more serious than just breaking a rule or a policy. It's the law, and so I take an oath every year that we get sworn in that says that I will uphold the Constitution of Arkansas, as well as the federal Constitution, and so I aim to do that every single day, and thankfully my office employees have also been very gracious to do the same.
That's wonderful. And when we were talking about that earlier, you mentioned this, I guess, mission statement or statement of fair and equitable, and you also have a magazine that comes out. Well, the Assessor's World.
Yes, we that's kind of our motto, if you will. We want to treat everyone fairly and equitably. Because we handle all of the property within Craighead County, we have to treat everyone fairly. We have to use the same mindset when we're valuing one person's house that we use across the county with another person's house. This creates a fair playing field for everybody, so that we're not favoring one person over the other. Same with the penalty. Unfortunately, if I, like you said, if I make the exception for one, that's not fair and equitable to you if I charged it to you. And so it makes it a little tough sometimes with the not so nice penalties, but it's great because it makes it so that we're not favoring one person or another.
Okay. And what are some other things that you all handle within your office?
Real estate is the big one.
Okay.
It takes a lot of time and a lot of effort. We have appraisers who we contract through Delta Mass Appraisal, and they go out. We're on a 5-year cycle, so once every 5 years, your house gets looked at by our appraisers. If you've had an addition to your house, or if you've built a fence or something like that and gotten a building permit through the city of Jonesboro, then we will be out there more often to pick up those new additions. But other than that, we'll be out there once every 5 years just to make sure that we still have your property on at a fair value, we call it market value,
Okay.
is what we're trying to get to. And then we also have staff within the office who work the deeds that come from Candace Edwards, the circuit clerk.
Okay.
Deeds are filed in her office, and then we get them, and we used to print them out and work them through the day and then throw them away at the end of the week, which is a lot of paper waste, a lot of toner waste. And so one thing that I was very happy to be able to implement was paperless deed works.
Okay.
And so we don't print them out, we work them in a PDF format, which allows us to take our notes on the deeds if need be through that, and then we can just save it right into the system instead of having to scan it in. So we're very excited about that. That's taken away a whole lot of desk clutter and waste. And so we've tried to make the office more green and more efficient in just little ways like that. And so
That's wonderful. And most of the people that we've talked to that work either tax collector or circuit clerk, they've talked about finding ways to streamline the way things are done, creating less waste, saving the city and county more money, so that money can go, more money can be allocated possibly somewhere else by saving on supplies. So thank you for helping to save the city a little bit more money.
Well, thank you. We're always looking for ways to do that. It makes us feel good when we can say, oh, we saved money here, or we saved money on this. It just feels good. Kind of like going to the store and buying a really cute shirt for half price. You got just as cute of a shirt and didn't have to spend as much money.
That's right. I love the sale.
Absolutely. It's exactly like that.
So, some people may have concerns. Okay, so you're saving paper, everything is done on the computer. Do you have a secure backup system?
Yes. What we contract our software system through Apprentice Information Systems, and they do a daily backup for us. We have a server that hosts all of our information, but then we also have our information at their location in Rogers, but then on top of that we have a third location that everything is backed up, and I believe it's in Oklahoma, but don't quote me on that. It's the way, just so that information back if something does happen.
That's wonderful. Okay. And so what are some other things that you have been able to accomplish? I know you've only been in the office, you said roughly a year and 10 months,
Yes.
Not quite 2 years. What are some other things that you've been able to accomplish since you've been in your office?
One of the very first things that we did, I know I said that Ed Way was very customer service oriented at the bank, and so I took that with me. I took that to heart, and I really looked at the office and to decide if we were really doing the best we could do, because I've said this before, maybe not today, but I think there's always room for improvement. Like I said, I'm always looking for ways to cut costs if we can. I'm always looking for ways to make any aspect of the office better. And so whenever I first took office, the personal property, it's kind of like a teller window.
Okay.
Personal property deputies were facing to the left. And so when you walk down that hallway, you walked up to their back.
Oh, okay.
And so that's just the way the desks were set up. And so poor maintenance. We had maintenance come in and help us refigure our desks up there so that we could face our deputies towards where you walk up, so that you're greeted by a face rather than somebody's back. And so, again, it's very simple, very small, but it makes a big difference, so that you're not standing there having to wait on someone to realize that.
Yes.
I've also created seating where we didn't originally have seating. We now have a little waiting area with a couple of chairs, just in case we are busy. Yes. Again, sometimes it's just the little things that make the biggest difference. And we also had cubicle walls separating several of our employees, and so we took those down, and then we separated their desks so that there was room in between them. So now you can get a wheelchair pretty much throughout the office. We've tested it, and I'm pretty sure we can get it everywhere. And then we've also created seating at each of the desks, so that if someone comes in and has, a folder full of paperwork that they need a lot of time, that they can do that without having to, try to stand up and balance on the edge of a cubicle wall. So we've really tried to make the office as comfortable and like I said, customer service oriented as we could. We've also tried to.
I'm sorry, our break. We're getting ready to go to break. Wow, that came up on us fast. So we're going to pick up where you left off.
Sure.
When we come back from break, you're listening to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM, where we're talking with Ms. Hannah Towell. She is the current Craighead County Assessor. Remember, you can call or text 870-277-1080, and we'll be right back.
You're listening to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5. We'll be right back.
Men, how do you know if you're being a good dad? I'm Mark Merrill with today's Family Minute. As I travel around the country and speak with a lot of fathers, I've found that there's one question that comes to the mind of most dads. Am I being a good dad? Well, here are 7 practical ways to help you answer that question. First, you're being a good father when you really listen to your kids. That means giving them your full attention and don't constantly look at your phone or laptop. Second, you know you're being a good father when your calendar is full of things to do with your kids. For the rest of the ways to know you're being a good dad, visit my blog at markmerrill.com. Remember, your family first.
Family Minute is made possible by the Kappa Nu Omega chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, a nonprofit organization committed to service to all mankind. Kappa Nu Omega Alpha Kappa Alpha on Facebook.
KLEK 102.5 FM and Massey Productions presents the inspirational gospel stage play, What Don't Kill Me Makes Me Stronger, a story of 3 sisters challenged to cope with cancer, drugs, and rape that will inspire you, renew, and reaffirm your faith. 2 shows, 6 and 8:30 p.m., Friday, October the 14th, during A-State Homecoming Weekend at the Epic Center, 1899 County Road 333, Hasbrook Road in Jonesboro. Tickets are $10 in advance, $20 at the door, and can be purchased at www.klekfm.org or by calling 870-277-1080. Bring the entire family Friday, October the 14th during A-State Homecoming Weekend to the Epic Center to see What Don't Kill Me Makes Me Stronger, the inspirational gospel stage play. 2 shows, 6 and 8:30 p.m. This is a KLEK fundraiser.
The City of Jonesboro Civil Service Commission will be testing for the position of entry-level firefighter. Applications are available at the Human Resources Department located at City Hall, 300 South Church Street, Suite 100 in Jonesboro, Arkansas. The qualifications are candidates must be a United States citizen, possess a high school diploma or GED, be a minimum of 21 years of age, a maximum age of 34 years of age as required by Arkansas law, no felony convictions. Applicants are also required to possess a valid driver's license, pass a written exam, a physical agility test, a drug screen, medical exam, and a comprehensive background check, including a polygraph test. The City of Jonesboro is an equal opportunity employer, and women and minorities are especially encouraged to apply. More information is available at 870-933-4640. Applications will be available through October 14th, 2016.
New St. John Missionary Baptist Church, 308 North Main Street in Jonesboro, is under the direction of Reverend Ted T. Taylor Sr. Worship services are Sundays at 11 o'clock a.m., Sunday school is on Sundays at 9:30 a.m., prayer service is Wednesday nights at 6:30, and Bible class is on Wednesday nights at 7 o'clock p.m. New St. John also has the Men of Standards Ministries, Outreach Ministry, Choir, Youth Ministry, Dance Ministry, and Missionary Society. www.ncsbc.org. www.newstjohn.org. New St. John Missionary Baptist Church on Facebook, 870-932-6915.
Lame excuses and other forms of voter apathy have no place in American democracy. Show that you care, do your duty, and go vote. This is a reminder from Cheryl Underwood Radio.
From the KLEK Community Calendar, A-State Care presents After School Tutoring in the Community. Available Tuesdays and Thursdays from 3 o'clock p.m. until 5 o'clock p.m. through December 6, 2016. Subjects that will be taught will be language arts, writing, reading comprehension, mathematics, science, geography, social studies, and history. The address is 911 Magnolia Road in Jonesboro, Arkansas.
And now back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM.
All right, welcome back to Community Conversations, to the second half, or I guess second portion, I should say. We're talking with Ms. Hannah Towell. She is the current Craighead County Assessor. And if you have any questions or comments, the phone number is 870-277-1080. You can call or text that number, or leave us a comment or on our live stream, which is on Facebook, KLEK's Facebook page, and you can also watch live on YouTube. Okay, so we're going to get back into where we left off. Ms. Hannah was talking about some of the accomplishments she's made since she's been in office. So please continue.
So just as a recap, I was talking about how we've tried to make the office more customer service oriented. And so one of the ways that we tried to do that was we created a Facebook page and a Twitter page.
Oh.
And we were trying to get that information out about the May 31st deadline for the late penalty, or for not getting a late penalty. And so we tried to push that information out that way because that's free and a lot of people use it.
Yes.
I know we also still use the newspaper because that is required by law that we advertise it in a regularly printed paper. And so we're really trying to reach out in as many ways as we can. Another option that was available to us was to send out mass emails to those who had not assessed yet. And oh my goodness, I could not tell you how many people assessed that way and how many accounts that we corrected that way because they didn't realize that they still had their information here in Craighead County and they had actually moved, or for example, or they had a vehicle that they needed to remove and they forgot to do it, or something like that. And so if you would like to receive one of these emails next year for your assessment, just come by or call our office. And our number at the office for personal property is 870-933-4570. And we can put your email address into our account, and then if you have forgotten to assess, usually by May 1st or the first week of May, we'll try to start so that we can give you plenty of time to get in the office, or like I said, call or email or go online to our website and you can assess there, which has proved to be very helpful for a lot of people as well.
And I am one of those online people. I try to handle as much business online. Some people are afraid of using their debit cards and things like that online, but I haven't had any problems so far. So I get the email. I can't think of the name that it comes, arkansas.gov or gov.something.
There is an email service through, I believe it's sos.gov. It's the Secretary of State's office.
Okay.
It's called, their website is called Gov2Go. And
it.
that is a very, very helpful service that they provide in addition to ours.
Okay.
And so you can actually sign up for both if you think you need it. I actually do have that one. Whenever it first came out, I signed up for it just to see what it was like, and I like it a lot. It's actually very helpful.
Okay. I want to give a couple of shout outs to people that are watching and some people that left comments. Mr. Dave Karn says, shout out to Hannah Towell. Let's get out and vote and re-elect her back into office for Craighead County. Mr. Jeff Wisham says, Hannah has done a fantastic job. Mr. West Eddington says, good morning. And then we have another one. This is kind of not related, but Mr. Dennis Kellett re-elect Mayor Perrin. He's done nothing but good. Mr. Kelly, Mayor Perrin will be on next week, so please leave your comment again when he comes back on the show. Thank you all for watching and listening and sharing. Don't forget to share and share alike so everyone can see this interview.
Yes, thank you so much for those comments. I appreciate that.
We want everyone to be informed when they come to the polls, and that's the purpose of these interviews. We want everyone to hear what the different candidates have to say so they can make the best decision, so they can vote for the person who they feel represents them and what they believe in. So I hope that everyone is out there listening, taking notes to what you're saying, and they make the best decision when they go to the polls.
Well, I greatly appreciate that. I think it's really important, especially at the local level, to really pay attention to what's going on in the office, and if there is an opponent, what the opponent is saying, and not so much about which party they're in. Yes. While I do think party policies are important on a higher scale, I guess you would say, for state representatives, people who are making our laws. I think it's really about the ethics and the morals of the person who's in the county office, because again, we're not making the laws, we are posed with following the law. Yes. And so I think that's very important to remember.
And I see a lot of people on Facebook. I know so many people are Focus 04. We have initiatives on the back. We have like 7 initiatives.
Oh my goodness, yes, there are so many.
I mean, there's so much more to focus on. Yes, presidency is very important, but along with that, you got to think about who's running your state, who's running your city, who's running your county.
Absolutely.
As well. So I'm sorry to be on my little soapbox this morning. I just had to get that in. We have to vote on every level, not just the presidency. So.
Yes, we do.
Okay, so we're going to bring it back in. Sorry.
You're perfectly fine.
Okay, so we talked about, off air, we talked about some of your goals going into the next year, if you're reelected. And we talked about there's some of your employees that some know how to do everything, but there are others that don't, and they get faced with some questions they are limited in answering. So you talked about cross-training.
Yes.
Maybe one person here, another person there, but you want to make sure that everyone in the office knows a little bit about something.
Yes, you're absolutely right. So unfortunately, change takes time. And so our real estate department knows just about everything there is to know about personal property, because all of them have worked in our personal property department before, and so they're very comfortable with personal property as well as their current position in the real estate department. Business personal we're currently working to train them on the real estate side of things, just because they sit in kind of the same area. And so if someone walks up to them and asks them a question about their Homestead Credit or a property owner for a specific address, we want them to be able to answer those questions, and so they can do that. We're currently training 2 of them more extensively so that they can help with the more detailed and complicated questions. And then next year we plan to take the other 2 in the business personal department and do the same with them. But like I said, it just takes time, and we don't want to take too many away from the office while they're learning and while during our busy times. And so then for personal property, that is my goal, to eventually be able to train them on some of the basics for real estate, and business personal as well. But it takes time. So we are slowly but surely getting there.
So I dare ask this question: do you ever have a down time or a slow period?
Our slowest time is probably well, it depends on the department. I was going to say July, but really July is a pretty busy time for business personal property, before July is really busy time for business personal, because that is our deadline with the auditors at the state. So when all the businesses get their assessments in by May 31st, then we have 1 month to get all of that paperwork completed.
Oh, gosh.
And so that's quite a task. Now, we are lucky a lot of people do turn it in throughout the year before May 31st, but there are quite a few who wait. And so we'll get stacks and stacks and stacks of mail.
Oh,
and
my
it's
God.
it's a little daunting at times, but it's okay. We've got 4 who work in that department and are very good at it. And so
Okay.
I'm very blessed to have them. And so that period right before July is busy for them, but then from July through August is busy for our real estate, for our appraisers, because we're getting out our value increase notices to people who, let's say, built an addition onto their property or built a new house altogether. And so July is when we're getting those notices out to them so that they'll have fair warning that their value is going to change for next year. And then in August, we have an appeal process that we make available to all taxpayers. If you disagree with your value, we have what's called the Equalization Board, and they convene on August 1st, or excuse me, I believe it's the first Monday in August.
Okay.
And then we make them available to all of our taxpayers who feel that their values are incorrect or unfair. Now, what we try to do is catch them before they go to the EQ board so that they don't have to go through a formal process. Because we are human and we do make mistakes, we try to go through an informal process, let them talk to our office or to Delta Mass Appraisal and see if we can't work it out there. And if after that they are still unsatisfied or dissatisfied, then they can set an appointment with the EQ board and go before the EQ board. And so fair and equitable is really our bread and butter. We really try to give you every opportunity to express your feelings about your property. Even if the EQ board does not agree and does not change your value, you still then have another means to appeal to county court. And then even beyond county court, you can then file a circuit, file a lawsuit basically with the county.
So have you had, I'm going to say many cases, have you seen any cases since you've been in office go through the hires, go through appeals, and has there anyone that's been like, I don't agree with this at all?
We have had taxpayers come through the EQ board, of course.
Okay.
Since I've been here, I've gone through one who appealed to county court, and then he did not go farther than that.
Okay, so if someone wants to get in touch with you, they have an issue, let's back it up. Just say for me, I forgot to update my address when I moved, and I moved several months ago. So if someone has a change of address, change of something, how do they go about making those changes?
We make a very big effort to go through and find your address. We have different ways to do that. Of course, we can try to look you up on Google. We try to talk to the collector's office. We try to reach out to our other resources for an updated address. We can even try to reach out to the Postal Service. We make every attempt to get your address correct. We ask you when you come in between January and May to assess your personal property, we verify that your address is correct. Now, if you move after that, it's a little hard to know unless you have called us and let us know.
All right, so for those of you listening, it is your responsibility. If you move, please go and change your address at the assessor's office. If someone doesn't want to come in, is there a way to change it online?
I have received many emails with people updating their address that way.
And what is the email address people can reach you at?
There is one that is assessor@craigheadassessor.com. And then if you want to email me directly, it is Towell, so my first initial last name, at craigheadassessor.com.
Okay. So there are all types of ways to reach out to the assessor's office, and like you said, they have gotten on social media, which like everyone, like I'm starting to see people that were teachers or professors that when I was in school way back, they're over a certain age, but can't count them out. Now they're on Facebook, and so that's just the way to reach out to people. but you can reach out to the assessor's office in any way: Facebook, Twitter. They have an email address. Call the office, or just go by the office.
Yes, we love seeing those smiling faces.
Okay. I wanted to ask though, and this may be irrelevant. With so much, do you get a lot of return mail for people who don't update addresses?
We do get return mail, yes. Like I said, if we do, we try to reach out to those other resources and see if we can update it that way. Now, sometimes we aren't successful, and then we just have to try to wait and catch them when they assess their property the following year. But
so again, if anyone has any more questions or comments, you want to leave a message on our Facebook page. The phone number here, 870-277-1080. Again, that's 870-277-1080. Sorry. Or you can call or text that number. So, okay, Miss Hannah, so we talked about some of your accomplishments. Are there any more that we didn't get into? Things that you've been able to streamline or change or kind of tweak since you've been there?
We did change one process, and it is a very small process, but it's a very big deal.
Okay.
So I know I've mentioned the Homestead Credit. That is a $350 tax credit that you get on the property that you own and live in.
Okay.
And you can only have one.
Okay.
So make sure that if you've got properties in multiple locations, or especially if you have them in multiple counties, try to make sure that you are not claiming the Homestead Credit in multiple places, because that is against the law, and so we don't want anybody to get in trouble. But the Homestead Credit is a very great tool for taxpayers. Again, it's $350 off of your bill, and you come to our office to get it. And we usually mail it to you when you buy a new house.
Okay.
We have a letter that asks several questions about how much you paid for it, whether or not you're disabled, if you live there 6 months or more out of the year, and if you've made any significant changes to it. It's just so that we can verify the information about the sale and about the property.
Okay.
And again, the Homestead Credit is on that letter. So if you get that letter, please make sure you fill it out and either bring it back to us or send it to us in the mail or via email, so that we can get that applied for you. But what was happening was, for properties that had not had it in previous years, so let's say it was a rent house and the property did not have a Homestead Credit on that house, then someone bought it and was living there, as their home.
Okay.
And they came in and applied for it on time, no issue with dates or anything like that. And we told the system that yes, they had the Homestead Credit, but because of the way we were doing it, it was not actually applying to their account.
Oh my.
And so so that came to our attention earlier this year, and so we searched through all of the parcels in Craighead County. That's about 50,000 parcels, and so for all of you residents, please rest at ease. If you haven't received something from us yet, then you were not affected by this.
Okay.
We actually had 16 taxpayers who we found that this had affected, and so that totaled $10,274.92 that we, thank goodness, were able to refund for those taxpayers, and that's a pretty special deal. This Homestead Credit actually comes from the state, and as of October 15th, or this year the 17th, it's cut off. So if you haven't applied for it yet and you haven't paid your taxes yet, come in for 2015. But because of that cutoff date, you cannot change. So right now I can't change 2014's Homestead Credits. And so because that had been happening for multiple years, we were not actually able to go in and change the credit itself. But I went before the quorum court, and they were so gracious to agree with us and say that the taxpayers deserved that credit because they had applied for it. They didn't do it incorrectly. It was a function in the office that was not being applied correctly. And so thanks to the quorum court and judge's office and Cade's office and the county clerk and the treasurer. We all had to work together to get that done. But I was able to get that money back to those taxpayers, and we were so proud, so happy about that. It felt good to be able to give back to those people.
And I'm very sure that they were very appreciative that.
Well, I certainly hope so.
that they had someone looking out for them in their best interest and making sure that they weren't being overcharged or just duped out of spending more money that they were actually due. So if you own your property, own your home, and you live there, please go if you can today, or can they come Monday?
It'll be a tight squeeze.
Okay.
We will do our best.
Okay. So for those of you who have not applied for the Homestead tax credit, go see Miss Hannah's office and they will try to get you fixed up. So
yes, we certainly will.
And we're coming up on our next break. Wow. So you've been listening to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM, where it's talking with Miss Hannah Towell. If you have any questions or comments, please call us in. We'll be back in a few moments after these messages.
You're listening to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. We'll be right back.
We're back with Money Matters. I'm Alfred Edmond Jr. With the annual tax filing deadline looming, many of us are still scrambling to complete our returns. Here are some last-minute tips to keep in mind. Confirm that you are in fact required to file. Be sure to choose the right filing status for your situation. There are 5 filing statuses. Get your paperwork organized. Valuable time is lost trying to gather essential papers, such as interest statements and 1099 forms. To avoid the last-minute shuffle, collect all necessary materials prior to filling out your tax forms. When in doubt, ask questions. Tax-related forms, publications, and additional information are available on the IRS website. Filers can also call the Teletax Topics hotline at 800-829-4477. I'm Alfred Edmond Jr. for Money Matters, a product of American Urban Radio Networks.
Money Matters is made possible by the Jonesboro Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, a nonprofit organization dedicated to uncompromising commitment to communities, service, leadership, empowerment. www.jonesboroalumnidst.org.
House of Details, located at 4903 East Nettleton Avenue, is a proud supporter of KLEK, offering detailing on any type of vehicle, basic wash, hand wash, shampoo, interior cleaning, waxing, buffering, and light restoration, pickup, delivery, and more, with a motto of anything mean, we can clean. Details at 870-273-5187. House of Details on Facebook, LEKFM.org.
Experience the joy with Bishop Adrian R. Rogers of Fullness of Joy Church, 3307 Ray Street, Jonesboro, Arkansas, 72401.
Did you know that KLEK 102.5 FM is a nonprofit organization? Did you know that you can donate to KLEK 102.5 FM and your donation is tax deductible? Donations to nonprofit organizations such as KLEK can reduce the amount of taxes you may owe the IRS or increase the amount of any potential tax refund. Support your KLEK today. You can donate by calling 870-277-1080, visiting our studio at 1411 Franklin Street in Jonesboro, or on our website, www.klekfm.org. We at KLEK 102.5 FM are blessed and grateful for your support.
And now back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM.
All right, welcome back to the last leg of the show. I can't thank Miss Hannah enough for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me.
I've learned so much, and my head is still spinning. I probably will never learn everything. Oh, we have a call coming in. Hold on. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Good morning.
Hello to you guys.
She said good morning. She has a soft voice like
Can you hear me now?
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning. I have a question. We have some property, and what it is, it's a house, and then it has an adjacent lot to it. Now, it's on Homestead. We don't pay any taxes for it. But we do pay for the little property that's adjacent to the house, and it's fenced in and connected to it. Is there any way that you could change that where it would be on Homestead and that would just be one property? Or, because it has an address, I'm sure. I know it does, but I don't see why it couldn't be connected with it. It is with the house, but they bought it later. My parents bought the property later after they had the house.
So
it's just a lot next to it.
I think I've understood your question. You own a house and you own the lot next door?
Yes.
And you're wanting to know if you can have the homestead credit on both?
Uh-huh.
So what we can do, we can't apply it to two separate parcels, but if you did want to come in, we could combine those because they are together. Now it will still be priced probably about the same, but if you wanted it to be one parcel, we could fix that for you, and then the homestead would apply to the full property.
Because sometimes what it is my mother's house and my father's deceased now, and my brother lives there. Both my brothers live there, and as a matter of fact, we had that probably just deed it over to him. But they forget sometimes to pay their property tax, and I'm afraid as time goes on, that they may get in trouble about it because of not paying it.
Oh, they're not paying the tax on the adjacent lot?
That's what I'm saying. They do it, but they forget sometimes. So I wanted to just get it all together and make one property. Just like you said, I can come in and talk to you. You said you might be able to fix that?
Yes, you can. I will tell you, though, in order to get the homestead credit, the person living at the property must be on the deed. So if you wanted, you wanted to file a new deed for the person living there to include their name on the deed, you can do that. But again, their name has to appear on the deed. That's our ownership. That's where our ownership information comes from, and we cannot deviate from that. So it has to be.
Okay. Well, it's already been deeded over to him. I have all those papers where everybody signed that over, so I just bring them when I come.
That sounds great. And so, again, that deed has to be filed with Candace Edwards, the circuit clerk, and she is across the street. But we will make sure that you understand the full process, and we won't leave you hanging.
Okay, well, that would make it a lot simpler for everybody as the time goes on. They get older and forget, and like I said, we don't want anything to happen with that property gets separated from anything else.
Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely.
Okay, that was my question. Thank you.
You are so welcome.
Bye-bye.
Have a good day.
You too.
All right, that was a really great question.
It was. Glad they called in.
Like Miss Norma asked, for those who may not could have understood, basically a home on one owns another property, wants to combine them onto one account. I guess that's the right word to say, parcel, as you say.
Parcel, correct.
That way you're paying taxes on one thing versus two separate things. So I know this is not quite in your office, but if someone, say, doesn't pay taxes on, or even doesn't get their property assessed, what kind of penalties can they face?
So it's kind of a complicated deal. So in order to combine the properties, they do have to be touching one another. They have to be adjacent to one another. And so they were correct in that part of it. However, the taxes must be paid on both properties before we can combine them together, because we don't want to lose a bill that hasn't been paid yet. And so there is that stipulation that we have. If there is a property that's not being paid on, after 3 years of it not being paid, it then goes to an auction with the Commissioner of State Lands. And so then, because a lot of what we do goes to the schools, the money that we bring in through the value that we have funds the schools. And so our goal is to always be able to fund our schools in our county. So if we're not getting that money, then we allow the Commissioner of State Lands to auction that off for us so that we can start having that money flow back in.
All right. Well, we're about to wrap up here. I want to do two quick announcements. Tonight, Friday, October 14th, at 6 p.m. and at 8:30 p.m., there is a play, What Don't Kill Me Makes Me Stronger, inspirational stage play. Three sisters are faced to cope with cancer, drugs, and rape. They soon learn that what don't kill them makes them stronger. This will be at the Epic Center at 1899 Craig County Road, 333 Hasburg Road, Jonesboro, Arkansas. $10 in advance, $20 at the door. Tickets are still available, so go to the KLEK website and click on the link and then print off your ticket from there. Or you can contact the station and someone will make sure to get you your tickets. Don't forget, tonight, 6 and 8:30, inspirational stage play, What Don't Kill Me Makes Me Stronger. And then tomorrow night, after the game, 8th State Home Game Grown Folks After Party. First 30 ladies get in free. This will be at Legends, 1025. The admission is $5. Doors open at 10 p.m. And there will also be a live broadcast by KLEK. Okay, Ms. Hannah, thank you so very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
I really hope that everyone got something out of this interview. They can go back and watch it again on Facebook and YouTube if they just need to take more notes or whatever. I wish you well on your campaign.
Thank you so much.
And please, we'll be checking in with you to see what happens after the election.
Well, sure. That sounds wonderful. And thank you again for having me.
You're very welcome. Maybe you can come back again and give us some more updates on what's going on with the office. So we'll see what happens after the election.
I would love to do that.
Alrighty. So you have listened. This has been Community Conversations. It is Friday. I'm going home. It's kind of rainy. I hope everyone will stay safe and have a very, very blessed weekend.
Thank you for listening to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.